It is the UpViral Co-Pilot Show, Tuesday, September 28th, and we are ready to get started. Chit Chat is over, although you guys know me. This is Chit Chat Day. Vivian from Canada is here. Alessandro is here. Nestor is here, if I can remember that. Alessandro. Paul's here. Hi. We got a whole lot of people popping in. Chad, Daniel, Frank. There are two Franks. Jeff. There's two Franks, but only one Jeff. Vivian. Hi, Vivian. All right. Johan's here. Good to see all y'all. This is a Q&A session. William was hoping to have somebody scheduled for today as a guest interview. That didn't happen. Please don't forget, what I would love for you to do as you're joining in is to invite somebody, right? Why are we here? We are here to learn about viral campaigns. UpViral helps you refer others. Now, there is no specific campaign right now for this show. Psst, UpViral, maybe there should be. But we're still trying to get around to eating our own dog food around here. We last week reviewed the campaign that UpViral ran as a contest. And go back and watch that show if you haven't seen it. Lots of interesting nuggets in there. I have four or five questions from the people typing in and submitting them. So I want to get to those first because we always get questions from the audience. So I want to make sure we get those. I was also going to make sure that view stream on, I want to make sure I can see the stream over on the Facebook group. So I got that turned on. Ian is over there in the chat in the Facebook group. Quick reminder, you can always find these as a replay on Facebook, on YouTube, on the Co-Pilot Show, on the UpViral trainings inside the application. So yes, they're recorded. Yes, Steve, I know you want me to get all that out of the way before anybody signs in. Haven't figured that out yet. All right, questions. So let's dive into questions. The first question is from Vivian Rich. Vivian, I don't know if that's you. Vivian just said hi. I offer advice to people, not in person, on the phone, or online. I don't have a course, and I help people everywhere, anywhere in English. How can I create a campaign? How and where can I market it? Facebook, what can I offer as a prize? Can you give me any advice on incentives, overall strategy, traffic channels, prize channels, emails that I can offer, anything related to UpViral? I'm a beginner. Well, first of all, thank you for being here, Vivian. It is great to see you. And I'm laughing because I just saw Miles' question over in the Facebook group. I'll get to that in just a minute. Sorry, my stand-up desk is just made a very loud cracking sound. Hopefully I haven't broken it. And I need to turn on my do not disturb. All right, very long question, Vivian. And what you didn't tell me in the question, Vivian, if that's really the same Vivian, what niche are you in? So in terms of, I got to get back to the question. I offer advice. What kind of advice are you giving? I help people everywhere in English. How can I create a campaign and where can I market it? The first tip, counseling. What kind of counseling? Vivian says, counseling on behavior, spiritual counseling. Thank you. All right. Because that helps. And what I want you to do, Vivian, is to go back through every Co-Pilot show we've ever done. How's that? There are a couple of really good episodes in the Copilot Show archives that I can think of right off the top. Since there are like 56, 57 episodes, it might be a little tough to go through them all. There is one show, and I apologize, I don't have all the episode numbers memorized, where I built a campaign in 30 minutes. Now, that's actually much easier now, because what you can now do is use one of the UpViral campaigns to start, right? You can, if you go into create campaign, you now see 5 different ways or 6 different ways of creating a campaign. And one of those will probably fit your niche. Now, I've said this before, I apologize, because I don't have all of those 5 different campaigns memorized. I don't know exactly which one's going to fit. The key to all of that is that you kind of have to modify the heck out of them anyway, right? You are going to customize things for your niche. Now, we're going to get into a couple of questions later, and one of the ones, for example, on the UpViral Copilot, on the UpViral group in Facebook, I've forgotten his name. I should have that up because I need to reference that today. And I don't think he has a screen name that I know. Maybe he's here. Hopefully he's here. There are lots of good questions in the UpViral group lately. Derek had a good question. Bring more clients. Who is that? I wish you had a name. Episode 12, how to build an UpViral campaign in 30 minutes. Way to go. Thank you for posting that title. Because Deborah's apparently not here. Nestor posted that. Thank you very much. But over in the UpViral group, bring more clients, which is a page name, and she doesn't give a actual name there. So the reason I'm highlighting that question, he posted a video, and we're going to get into that video later. But one of the things I wanted to highlight about that particular video is that he says, hey, I just ran this campaign to get started. I had certain goals. I wanted to meet those goals and learn how things work. And that's what I advise all of you to do. And that's number 1, just get started. Highly advise that. I could talk for hours about that particular idea, but I want you to just get started. And don't, this is the second part of that, don't throw every bell and whistle that UpViral has in it in the first campaign. Start small, start where you understand it, and see how that works. Do not, and I have seen this happen half a dozen bazillion times, do not start with a campaign where you're going to give away a $5,000 prize. Don't start there. Start with something simple. I have even done, as an example, $50 Amazon gift card, just to show what can be done with a basic campaign. Those aren't the right leads for my audience. I get that. I understand that. I'm doing some testing to see how some things work. You can do that. It's okay. Start small. Do not try to throw all the bells and whistles in at one time. Now, one of the biggest problems you're going to have, Vivian, is figuring out what the right offer is, right? I'll go back to the story that I tell all the time from Bradley Waldrop. He did, excuse me, he did a campaign for a client that was in the survival niche. and they ran multiple campaigns. They first started out with camping tools or camping stools, and then they tried camping stoves, and they tried this and they tried that. The goal was to find the right offer that brought in the right clients. What they ended up with was a $97 flashlight. That made it easy, but they took a whole bunch of different campaigns to find out what the right offer was. Don't start, and what you're in is a niche spiritual counseling where you may find it's really tough. The other co-pilot show that I wanted to highlight, and it was very early in co-pilot show world, was a campaign that we built for, I can't remember. I can't remember her name, and it's just easier if I just go show you what I'm talking about. And Vivian, I assume that you already have UpViral. Hopefully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly share my screen. Good, she has UpViral. So inside of UpViral, in the Learning Center, up here at the top, when you first come in and you see all of your campaigns listed, you go to the Learning Center. Inside the Learning Center, it's Lillian. I finally came up with her name. You go into the co-pilot sessions, and I think I mentioned her name. There's the episode 12, how to build an UpViral campaign in 30 minutes. I thought, see, this is the problem with not having all these memorized. How to well, heck. I'm not seeing, the name is not ringing the bell right off the top. All right, never mind. Never mind. Frustrating. All right. But the idea here is do testing, learn the tool as you're going. One of the ways that I would even start, if you watch the show number 62, is 7 different ways of using UpViral. Vivian, if you happen to have a lead magnet, for example, a lot of people think UpViral is only for contests or giveaways. In that show number 62, I talk about a whole lot of different ways you can use UpViral. One way is a lead magnet. Yes, everybody probably has a lead magnet, an ebook, which is the thing that we were doing for Lillian in that show that I was trying to find in the list. It is often difficult. For example, if you are doing consultations, you're doing consulting, it is often difficult for people to understand that who you are, especially when you're first starting out. You don't have a reputation. You're not Tony Robbins. You're not somebody famous that people recognize the name. So giving away, which is often what people do, which is what Lillian was starting to do, was giving away an hour of her consulting time. And nobody was signing up. And it's quite easy to go, well, that's what everybody's going to want. But that's not always the way it works, especially if people don't know who you are. Now, in terms of prizes, like I said, you're going to need to test a whole bunch of things out. But pick something physical. All right, I'll give you another example. Ken, who was a productivity coach, taught people how to be more productive, had a campaign that he had running for a week, and he had 8 leads, and he called me and he said, hey, Mitch, how can I make this better? We did some tweaks, and he ended up getting, I don't remember exactly, 400 or 500 leads in that campaign. But the next one What he did, instead of trying to give away his time, was that he gave away a Pomodoro timer, which is a productivity tool, a physical tool, excuse me, that is in his niche, right? So maybe there's something in your spiritual niche that you could give away that's a physical product. The reason I'm saying start with a physical product is that it's often so much easier to explain what a physical product is, right? Where's my iPhone? Hey, win an iPhone. Everybody knows what that is, right? Win an hour of time with Mitch, where Mitch is going to teach you how to use this tool to accelerate your leads. It's a little bit harder to understand and explain, and it's just physically easier to give away something that people easily grasp. As long as it's in your niche, don't do the Amazon gift card, right? As long as it's in your niche, then you're going to have a much easier time getting people to understand it. You're going to have an easier time building your landing page, and off you go. Vong says, my learning center does not show the Copilot show. I suggest you write to the support team at support@upviral.com, or you can go over to the YouTube channel. They're all there on the YouTube channel as well. They're also in the UpViral Facebook group in the guides section. So there's been a couple of questions. And Vivian, my next suggestion is to keep showing up every week. This is an awesome way to get advice, to get ideas, to get understandings of how people are doing it. Next week's show, we still haven't decided what that's going to be yet. If it's an interview, then you get to see what somebody else did. Especially if you're new to marketing, all of this stuff is going to be really new to you. I could spend an entire 2 hours discussing what to do as a startup. It's hard. There's lots of things to work on when you're starting out. Miles asked, can you explain what the One Valley powered by Zoom means? This is UpViral's YouTube or Zoom channel, and they purchased Zoom through a third party, and that's the third party's logo, and as far as I know, it can't be removed. Other questions. TZ asks, what are the methods UpViral uses to prevent or detect fraud? That's an entire show conversation, TZ. UpViral's primary method of fraud detection is through IP duplication. I've spent a lot of time working on fraud in my own campaigns, and it's certainly a bugaboo. That's an entire show's worth of conversation. UpViral does an okay job with notifying you about fraud. I would love to see, I've had conversations with them about making improvements to the way that works. Don't know and when or if those things are going to happen, but it is a topic that's on a lot of people's minds. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And there aren't any simple answers there. A couple of quick answers are: one, use double opt-in. Double opt-in is going to reduce the whole number of people that opt into your campaign. Number two, if you really want to, only let people come to your campaign via the Facebook opt-in button, the login button. I recently ran a test doing that, and let me just say, I did a split test, and my results were disastrous. So those are a couple of quick tips. I'm scrolling backwards to see In regards to UpViral contest last week, you were explaining how the share link was way more effective than all the other sharing options. However, when I watched the replay, I noticed that they awarded 20 entries for the share link and 1 entry for everything else. This is from Kiki. My question is, do you think the link would still be leaps and bounds more effective if the share link had the same point allocation of the other options? The key, Kiki, is that it's not about the points for the share buttons. UpViral only allocates those points one time. The most effective thing is to educate people and to give them a high number of points and tell them about it. And I laugh because I have run into campaign after campaign after campaign, including the one from UpViral, that does not say, hey, by the way, the most effective way of winning the prize or earning the most entries, whichever, you don't want to give them the idea that it's the most points prize if it's not. But the most effective way of stuffing the ballot box, as Bradley used to say, is to refer friends, and every friend you refer, you get X number of points. Because guess what? UpViral is tweaked such that the only way people can earn multiple points to get points for doing something more than once, because all the buttons, they only get the points one time, is to refer others. I mean, that's where the gold is, right? That's where all the value is. That didn't work, or I didn't hear it. So incentivize the points the way you want to get the buttons to do the things you want people to do. But tell them about the share copy and ask them to share their link everywhere. Kiki, did that answer your question? Yeah, social access free points. You want to be guaranteed signups over anything else. That was Lenny. My friend Lenny's here. Steve said, any experience or knowledge about building a campaign in non-English? No. Anybody else? My short answer is no. I'm afraid I only know English. I have seen plenty of examples that are non-English, and they work fine. In fact, if you go look at, there's a couple of case studies, the Copilot, the case studies in the UpViral Facebook page about non-English campaigns. One of them was the cooking show. They had multiple chefs that they were battling against each other. That was not English. Steve, if there's anything in specific you want to know. Alessandro also asked the question about a ton of fake leads. What I would do, here, I have to be careful. I have to be careful. My suggestion to you on these concerns is to raise those questions to UpViral. Perline's question, do you need to have Mailchimp or something similar for the campaign to work? The short answer is no, but there's a caveat to that. UpViral only sends out certain emails, right? It sends out what I call transactional emails, in that they send, when an event happens inside of UpViral for that person, UpViral sends them an email. When they sign up, when someone signs up underneath them, when they earn an incentive, when they're the prize winner, those are or when they cheat, those are the 5 ways UpViral will notify somebody. If you want to have a conversation with people outside of those transactions, you need to have an autoresponder like Mailchimp. I watched the videos by Wilco and was mentioned that for us to collect the leads, I'm working on my first campaign, haven't gotten there. Way to go, Perline. Way to go for starting your first campaign. The short answer, again, is no. The longer answer is yes, because that's where you are going to communicate with those people after you have them. UpViral does not let you send broadcast messages out to everybody. They do one-on-one kinds of emails. Hopefully that answers that question, Perline. If it doesn't, let me know. All right. Nestor, I am going to look at your question in a little bit because I do want to get to the questions that were asked via the email system. Trailed off when you're talking about the split tests. Joe, I trailed off because I know there are a lot of people. I know there are a lot of people that use the Facebook opt-in only. They don't give an opt-in form. And in the test that I'm running right now, I just basically turned off the Facebook opt-in because it was 10 or 50, I don't remember the exact percentage, but it was getting horrible conversions because there are people, I can never remember his name, Fred, no, Frank might be right, in the UpViral group that absolutely love the Facebook login option, and that prevents a lot of fraud. It does prevent a lot of fraud. It also prevents a lot of opt-ins. It's up to you. Lewis is here. Mitch, good morning. In the areas of tracking, Lewis, are you the one that is bring more clients? Is that you? I can't remember. Oh, it must be you. We're going to talk about that, Lewis. We're going to talk about that. All right. So we're going to talk about that, Lewis, in detail, because I actually, I don't know if you can see this. Where's my face? I got somebody. I have a list of things that I want to talk to you about from your video, and I appreciate your video so much. It's very helpful when people submit a video, because then I can really look at what's going on as opposed to, text, couple of words. All right, Lewis, we'll get to you. I want to get, because I don't want to get distracted. The people that send in questions are as important as you guys. So that's, let's see, Joe, are you here? Joe Simons? I thought I saw it. Joe Simons is here. See, you asked the same question here. All right, Joe is here. Technical side. So his question was how to handle fraud detection on a campaign, both on the technical side and the human side. Number one, I actually saw, and I'm not going to be able to come up with it in any kind of real hurry. I can guarantee you I ain't going to come up with it really fast. I do these screen grabs and things that I want to remember or do, and then I never give them. Here it is, actually. Let's see if I can make this, if I can hide, let's see, can I hide everything else? So there's Zoom, there's this, all right. So if I share my, I don't know, I think everything else is hidden. I don't want to show. Anyway, this is, you guys see this? This is a sweepstakes advantage. I've talked a lot about sweepstakes advantage in the past. There's pluses and minuses, but the thing that I wanted to note is that on their opt-in form where it says mail, give me your email address right here. It says you will receive a confirmation email after you subscribe. You must confirm to be entered to win. It's right there, smack dab in your face. Okay, and that to me is something that I think is more and more critical It's not perfect. There are still a lot of people who will cheat the system. It drives me bonkers. Drives me bonkers. I want more validation on custom actions. I want more fraud detection. These are my big bugaboos right now. People cheat. They will do anything to get points. But there are things that you can do that will help. They're not totally effective. And again, I could spend an hour looking at this. I'm not going to go. I'm laughing because there are just so many things that I could talk about here, and I don't want to take up the whole show on fraud detection. It is a major issue because I want genuine leads and not just random email addresses. I totally get it. One of the other things I have been doing is researching some of these other tools to find out what they're doing so that I can help improve UpViral on that issue, because it's an important issue. Vivian says, what about asking for a phone number? Yes, you can do that. In fact, Lewis did that on the campaign that we're going to talk about on the video that he sent. There's plus and minuses, right? I can type in a phone number field 1234, that from the area code 1234 1234 or 123, whatever the numbers are, and I can get past asking for a phone number. I do it all the time because I don't want people calling me. I don't like it, especially when they don't say what it's going to be used for. Now, if it said, please enter your phone number and it's not required, and it says, we will text you updates for this campaign, then I'm much more likely to fill that in because I want updates about the campaign. I don't want spam calls. I don't want people calling me. I've gotten really paranoid about my phone. This is me, and I think it's true for a lot of people. Not everybody. Some people say, Mitch, you should answer every phone call. You never know what's on the other end. Yeah, I know. But I get really tired of things. But if Vivian says, yeah, a text confirm instead of an email, I would love to see that. That is one of the options that I have seen talked about, but I haven't seen implemented anywhere. If it says, we will use this to confirm your entry, and we will not text you anything else other than that, I am very excited about that as a possibility. I don't know. UpViral is not telling me what they're working on. I do not know whether they are working on that as an option, but that would just about kill most fraud. I would love to see that. I hate to see those things. Personally, I shouldn't say hate, but it's just one more step, right? But it's better than double opt-in because nobody opens the frickin' double opt-in emails. It's much better than double opt-in. I really, really hate double opt-in because nobody ever sees those emails. And everybody's getting used to it, right? Every time I'm again laughing from my own personal experience. I've been needing access to my mother-in-law's accounts, bank accounts. Long story. But every one of those bank institutions now texts you a confirmation number. So I'm getting very used to that. It's also nice that browsers, I don't think all the browsers do it, but Safari does it, at least here on the Mac, such that if you're on a page and a text comes in with a confirmation number, the Mac goes, hey, that looks like a confirmation number. Do you want to use that in here? So you don't even have to copy and paste. I like that. Vivian says it will eliminate anyone that does not want to use texting. Yes. This is a trade-off issue, right? Do you want more leads? Lots and lots of leads? Well, you'll have to put up with some fraud. If you want really valid leads, you got to put up with people that won't want to opt in. It's one of the reasons why I really wish I could remember his name. Joe, Frank, Paul, whatever his name is on the Facebook group, Fred. It's got to be Fred. He uses the Facebook opt-in because he knows that's the only way that somebody can get in. The biggest problem with fraud, frankly, is if you set your campaign up and somebody can put in any email address, then the referrals are suspect, right? That's where I see the most fraud, is where you say, well, Betty, you've just signed up. Now, if you get 5 friends to do this thing, then so Betty enters 5 fake emails to get the free thing. Even if you say to them, and I've done this on several of my opt-ins, please, this is my business. Please be honest. Don't just put in a bunch of junk emails. I'm going to not send you the thing, blah, blah, blah. But people still do it. They still feel like, Mitch doesn't care. I do care. It's my business. I'm trying to grow business here. Why are you cheating my business? It is a problem. I would love to see some additional ways of combating fraud. Steve Hoagland says, +1 for text confirmation. Time is money. Less fraud is better value. Throwaway emails are a dime a dozen. Absolutely. Margaret, thank you for commenting. First time commenter. Should you not put all verified emails? I'm not sure, Margaret, what you mean. I'll tell you something that I'm using that is not UpViral supported, and I've never talked to them about it. And I still don't understand, Margaret, how do you get a verified email? Now, here's something that I have done. There's a tool called Debounce. There are other tools on the market. They're not the only ones. And what it does is, in the UpViral form, if Betty puts in junk@junk.com, it will not let her enter if that is not a verified email. And maybe that's what you're talking about, Margaret, but that's not a function of UpViral. I have added a third-party tool to make that happen. It can work. If you want, you can contact me outside of this arena, and I can show you how to do that. It's not a perfect system either. But it's obviously a big topic. All y'all are asking me about this today, and it is a very big topic. In fact, if I can go back to the UpViral group, I'm scrolling through. Don't forget to leave a pumpkin on Wilco's post. Sometimes I wish that I could do a better job or better way of showing Facebook without all the junk. Go away. Anyway, Martin with 2 A's. The biggest problem with giveaways is basically the bigger problem, he said, was his autoresponder. If you get a lot of unsubscribes, he said that will trigger the autoresponder to throttle you. Now, I have not heard that. Chris O'Dell said, I don't know what the business is and what the prize is, but when unsubscribes are the major issue, is likely because the prize does not resonate with the desired audience. So anyway, there are certainly lots of issues with lead generation. I know there's a question. Let's see if the question is in the thing. Yes, Tim asked this question. I want to use UpViral in Messenger, as I believe combined they're a, quote, deadly duo, unquote. The mission, if you will, would be to promote a SaaS offer at $37 on the front end to inject a new blood in it. Not interested in leads, just $37 sales. It's gone stagnant and it needs a move forwards. Any suggestions will be greatly appreciated. Tim, if you are watching, Lewis says, I agree on finding a way to utilize Messenger. Let's see. Tim, let's see if Tim's here. There is no Tim listed. There's a TZ. What I would advise you to do, this is something that I have sworn up and down that I am going to spend time to learn. Mitch raises his hand and says, I don't know Facebook Messenger. And yeah, I don't know. But there is a freaking amazing resource in the UpViral group. His name is Guy Smith. Guy Smith. I'm doubting that for some reason. Guy, he answers, he's part of the UpViral team. He is the UpViral concierge. And Guy runs all of his campaigns through Messenger. He is a Messenger freaking guru. And I keep swearing, okay, maybe I need to do more with Messenger. And I'm going to learn how to do it like Guy does it. But I've never made the time. Lewis says, can we invite him on your show? I've actually talked about having Guy on as a guest. We have not made that happen yet. Maybe that's the best way to force me into it. I think that would be a very popular topic. I know it would. God, my brain is so fried. James Schaefer asked, do you recommend a certain length of time for a contest? No, I don't. This is a very, very common question and one that is difficult to answer. I have a campaign that ends in 3 days that has been running for 3 months. The client has done virtually nothing to promote it, so that's the problem. I have a friend who runs contests all the time that swears 3 months is the optimum for his campaigns. I think it's way too long. His experience is different than mine. He promotes his differently than I do. He has a website that promotes their campaigns, so they can promote whatever. It is really hard, in my opinion, to keep people's attention for 3 months on a campaign. Win a crock pot, and it's 3 months from now, maybe I'm not so interested. I have run campaigns for 2 weeks. 2 weeks is my primary goal. Right now, I'm switching more to a month for many of my campaigns. So I'm either doing 2 weeks or a month. Lewis did something that I wanted to talk about. Speaking of time length, the laws in the United States, and I am not a lawyer, I do not pretend to be a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV. I do know that the contest / giveaway / sweepstakes laws in the United States are very adamant that you do not change the length of the campaign once you have added it, started sending leads to it, because that just smells of fraud. Do not end a campaign early. Do not extend the campaign. If you say it's going to end on a certain date, end it on a certain date. If it's not working, tough noogies, you're still supposed to give it away. The reason for that is that there is already enough fraud in the contest industry, and this has been true for decades upon decades. And what has happened is that people say, I'm going to give away $5,000 in cash. And then they collect a whole bunch of emails, and then they shut it down and they don't award the prize. Or they extend the prize, or they shorten it. The US contest laws strictly forbid that. Don't do it. I know it's hard. This is why I tell you to start small. This is not the whole reason, but one of the reasons why I tell you to start small. If you give away $5,000 as your big prize right off the bat, and you get 5 leads, you're going to be really peeved. Start small. Don't throw the biggest prize out there that you can. Start small. Have you heard me yet? If you're just getting started with contests, start small. Learn about fraud. Learn about how the campaigns work. Learn about incentives. As you go, build another campaign. Add incentives. I have so many contest clients where we have started with not all the bells and whistles that UpViral provides you. It's okay. You do not have to do everything in the first campaign. Do a simple campaign, an UpViral contest. Don't put in incentives. The $50 Amazon gift card thing that I'm testing right now has no incentives. It's just one prize. It's not even, I'm doing nothing of what I advise people to do for a big fancy contest. I just wanted to test one thing and see how it worked. $50 Amazon gift card gets a lot of people to reply. It's not the right prize for what I want. They're throwaway leads. I don't care about the leads, but I'm learning stuff with this campaign. Okay. Joe says the debounce thing you were talking about would be a good topic for a show. I don't know that they want me talking about third-party tools. I can potentially raise that issue. We'll see. Going back to the pre-asked questions, so the answer to Tim was really contact Guy Smith in the UpViral group. And just do a search, by the way. He has posted several times about what he's doing with his messenger campaigns. So search on him. Mike, are there any protocols to follow for advertising a sweepstake on Facebook? Hell yes. I am not a Facebook advertising expert. I do not run Facebook ads. Those are up to the client. That's not part of my wheelhouse. I am not a Facebook ads expert. There are gobs and gobs and gobs of people who are Facebook experts. I'm not one of them. I'm the contest guy. I'm the lead magnet guy. I'm the traffic guy. Per line, it's kind of late and I'm going offline. Thank you, Mitch. It's been very helpful. Well, you can finish out watching the replay. Come back, watch the replay. Skip ahead to 53 minutes in. God, is it already 53 minutes? James Schaefer, new to this group, so we are in ready, fire, aim with UpViral. No problem. And in fact, that's what I'm really sort of suggesting that you do, right? If I suggest that you start small and just get started with some kind of a campaign so you learn how the tool works, you're going to be so much better off when you get ready to build your ultimate campaign. There are a lot of features in UpViral. And I will tell you, because I've been poking around in the other tools, there are things that UpViral does that the other tools don't. But you don't have to apply them all at once to your very first or second campaign. Build up. I'll go back to the analogy of a baseball player. When you are 5 years old, at least in the United States, I don't know about the other countries, you start with something called T-ball, right? They put the ball on a stick and they say, walk up and smack it. They don't pitch to you. You got to start small. You're not a professional baseball player on day one. You got to start small. You got to learn the basics. You got to learn how the process works. If you go back to episode 62, I'm going to say that a lot. I think episode 62, the beginning of episode 62, walks you through the 2 pages in the UpViral process. If you don't understand those basics, if you're trying to start to learn to play baseball and you don't know how to hit and throw and run, you're in a sad state to get started to be able to be in the pro leagues when you're older. And every spring training, what do they tell you to do in baseball? They say, go back and learn the fundamentals. Redo the basics until they are rote memory. Mike, you're welcome. If you are trying to do Facebook ads, are you the biggest, baddest Facebook ads expert when you get started? No, you are going to crush it in terms of giving them a lot of money and getting very few results. You're going to be awesome at that. I guarantee it. I've spent thousands of dollars trying to be a Facebook ads guy and wasted every bit of it because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't take training. I didn't learn from the experts. There wasn't a Facebook Copilot show for me to go watch. Maybe there is these days. I don't know. Margaret, bless your heart. Thank you. We'll start small and watch the replay. And you forgot to say one thing, Margaret. I'm going to come back every week to this show. And I'm going to refer somebody. I'm going to ask somebody else that I know is in a business. Maybe they're an entrepreneur and they want to grow their list. I'll tell you really fast. This plaque back here, if you haven't heard about it, 250,000 leads from UpViral. Let me put that in perspective. If you haven't seen this, I think it makes a lot of sense. And you can't see it because I didn't set my Zoom up properly. Where's my settings? Zoom, video. I'll be really fast with this, I promise. This is the Darrell Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium. It holds 100,000 people. Okay? That plaque behind me, my UpViral account, 261,904 leads. That's approximately this many people, to put that in perspective. All right? You with me so far? Of my account, of those 260,000 people, this many people, 113,000 people, look at all those people, 43% were referred leads. Not everybody's going to get 43%, but that's my average over 250,000 leads in UpViral, over 100 campaigns in UpViral. This is why I can help you understand how to use UpViral. I've done it all. I've done so many things you've never even thought of. Those 43% are what the game is. Even if you only get 10%. Lewis, even if you only get 8% conversions. I forgot. Let's see. Really fast. 21 divided by 138. This is Lewis got 15% in his campaign that we haven't talked about yet. Lewis got 15%, ring the bell, 15% more leads through his campaign than he would have gotten doing traditional marketing. How many of you people don't want 15% more leads? Raise your hand. Tell me you don't want more leads. Okay, I'm waiting. Nobody's raising their hand. All right. This is freaky good stuff. This is why UpViral is so awesome. You get to grow your leads more than anybody else does because you're using a tool like UpViral. All right, scrolling back. James says, do you do analysis or review of campaigns on the show? We have a campaign coming up. Yes, although I just did that 2 weeks ago. If we have time later today, I will look at that. We will see. Margaret says, I will come back every week and refer a friend who's in business and do a shout out to Facebook to 2,000 of my followers. Holy freaking cow. Yay, ring the bell. That is freaking awesome. Where's my applause? Where's my applause? I don't know. Can you hear that? You should be able to hear that. Maybe I messed up. Maybe my system audio is broken again like it was yesterday. It doesn't look like you can hear that. Dang it. Something's broken on my computer. Yeah, you heard the bell. I know, because the bell is a real bell. Da-da-da! It's a real bell. But thank you, Margaret, for referring others. James, Linda says, I can hear you, but the question is, did you hear the applause? I don't think you can hear the applause because, anyway. Vivian says, so Mitch, you don't use Facebook ads at all. I personally do not run Facebook ads. I need to learn that part of life as an entrepreneur or hire somebody to do it, which is what I'd ultimately like to do. I don't want to learn that part of this entrepreneurship. I don't want to learn it. It's too hard. I would rather focus on this. My clients do the Facebook ads for their campaigns, not me. So I am not creating Facebook ads. Have my clients done Facebook ads? Yes. Oh, I was supposed to be answering the question for to Mike, who said, are there any protocols to follow? Yes. Facebook has protocols for advertising. Follow those. They are the ones that decide whether or not you can post your ad or not, even if it's for a contest. There are plenty of people that do Facebook ads for contests. You just have to follow the Facebook rules because they're the people in charge. Now, the joy of something like UpViral is that when people share on their timeline, that's not a Facebook ad. So you can put anything you want to in the social sharing side of UpViral. Put anything you want to. James, I forgot. Sorry, I started to read your question. I did see feedback on the Facebook page where people listed their campaign. Would you suggest that or not? You mean in terms of getting feedback? There is no better way than to learn from people who are already doing this. Yes. Now, are you worried about UpViral sending people, the UpViral group, people affecting your stats? Well, put a tracking link on it. We're going to talk about a tracking link in just a minute. Because Lewis submitted his question, big long question. I was trying to get through all the other ones before I get to Lewis. The other thing that you can do, let's say it's a week before you're going to launch your campaign to the public and you want feedback on UpViral. Give UpViral group the link. When it comes time for your campaign to run, guess what? You can go reset the stats. Or if you really want to, you could just clone the campaign and send that out as your launch. Either way works. By the way, I've been looking at other tools that I mentioned before, and some of them don't allow you to reset your stats. How painful is that? For those of you who look at stats, it's a pain. If you have a website with limited traffic, Steve Hogland, and you start small, does that impact on who enters later in later contests? Or we target different audience? No. Target your same audience. The people that get on your list theoretically are people you know, like, and trust, or know, like, and trust you, I should say. The whole point of building the list is to build a relationship with your list. Here, I'll put this up. Here, I'll put it up. Where is it? The money is in the relationship with your list. See, I have a slide for everything. The money is in the relationship with your list. I have had clients tell me time and time again, Mitch, I don't want to email my existing people because they're already in my world. I want new people. Guess what? The UpViral effect, the viral effect, is to take the people that know, love, and trust you and ask them to share, just like Margaret said she's going to do for us. She saw something really good and she's going to share it with people. That's the whole point of what we're doing here. It is the whole point of what we are doing here. Well, I just remembered that I don't have the Facebook thing open anymore. I don't want to miss a question. All right, so make sure that you continue to market to your existing list. Give them the offer. Tell them, by the way, if you're going to offer, let's say you've got an iPhone that you're giving away, totally wrong price, you know what I mean. You made the iPhone, that's your product. Would you offer it to your list again? Well, sure. Maybe they want an upgrade to your product. But you can also tell them, hey, by the way, if you already own the product that I'm selling, the iPhone, if you are the winner and you're already on my list, I'll double the price, or I'll give you this bonus, or I'll do that. All kinds of different ways you can manage that if you have kind of sort of a singular offer. James, and I really need to get to all these questions. So stick with me. I know we're over time, but that's a shock, right? UpViral, Steve, no, James says, UpViral is such a great concept, especially for our niche, CBD oil, CBD. I always say that wrong. There was a pizza shop in Tampa where I went to school called CDBB, CDDB. I can't even remember. And I always say CBD wrong. CBD can't be advertised on Facebook or Google, but you're absolutely correct. It can't be advertised, only posted organically. But guess what? That's what the social sharing is all about inside of UpViral. Get people to refer others. I can show you stat after stat after stat that says that referred visitors, referred people that get on your list are like 90% more likely to buy from you because Betty referred them to you. This is why you should be doing more and more of it. Apply it to everything in your business. So glad you mentioned that. James says, I didn't realize that we could reset stats. Yes, you can. Absolutely valuable. Vong says, sorry, got to go. It's a 1:06 a.m. in Sydney. We'll watch the replay later. Thanks for sharing your extensive knowledge and experience. You are welcome, Vong. I hope you come back at 1 hour and 8 minutes after the show replay started. Ian asked the question in the Facebook feed. If you're still there, Ian, 4 minutes ago. How much would you suggest investing on Facebook ads? That's a wide open question, which I do not know the answer to. For those of you who know me that have been here before, the answer is it depends. What all the Facebook ad people tell me is that you start small. You test and you test and you test until you find the optimum answer. Scott says $5 daily max to start. Scott, you should do post to everyone. So Ian, start small, build up when you get to something that's really working. This is why I say to test. Split test. You remember I was telling you about the Facebook opt-in? I am split testing in one campaign, a landing page that just has the opt-in form, a page that has the button that pops up the opt-in form. And the third page is the Facebook only opt-in. I'm testing all three of those on one campaign to see what happens. That's the joy of UpViral. Psst, the other tools don't have split testing built in. Some of them do, okay? You can do some things with some of the tools, but God, the joy of split testing these things to find out these answers is phenomenal inside of UpViral. Steve from Thailand says, I just wrote a note to myself and I thought I would share it. Number 1, public/cold traffic, normal points. 2, current list of people, extra points for a code word in an email. So yes, you can do that. Absolutely great idea. So what he's talking about, if you don't know, write this down for later, is a custom action for the people in the email. Now, everybody in the public will see that, but if they don't know the right answer, they can't get the points. Number 3, website members, further points for a code word in the website. Yes, that's another custom action to go find a code word in the website. Good for you. All right. Let's see. I want to make sure those were the 4 questions that were asked this week in the email opt-ins. All right, so we got those answered. Are there any questions that I haven't gotten to? Now, don't go away. I have not gotten to the Lewis thing. I got all this to talk about yet. But I wanted to make sure that we answered the questions that were coming in. Go to the UpViral group and leave the word pumpkin in Wilco's post so that he creates the template for pumpkins for Halloween. He's expecting 40 people to respond, and right now they're at 13, 14, 15 people. They got a long way to go. Joe says, I would like to remember my existing list once I build it. You don't want them to have to go through the process again of entering their email again. Guess what? UpViral has the one-click opt-in. I've only found one other tool that has it. I just found one that has it. I used to say that nobody else had it, but there is a tool that has the one-click opt-in besides UpViral. Highly advised. So that's the answer to your question, Joe. And if you don't know how to do that, that's a whole other topic. There's look it up on the Copilot shows, because I think there's one where we talked about that. Steve's point was, if your trusted clients share a contest which bombs, how do they know it bombs? Will they share another one? They don't know it bombed. How do they know it bombed? You're the only one that know it bombed. They have no idea. How much benefit is gained with the same referrals for subsequent contests? Isn't the point to get fresh new leads? Yes, your existing clients will bring you fresh new leads because they want to win the thing that you are offering. Lewis says, I was considering using the one-click opt-in, but refrained from using it in my campaign because I'm not sure how it works. Okay, test it. Find out how it works and test it. It is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I use it all the time for all kinds of different things. The one-click opt-in changes the game. If you don't know how to use it, learn. It's really easy. Just try it. Here's a tip for you. I'll do this because this is just the way I am. All right, we're going to go to Zoom. We're going to go, let's make sure I have something that's palatable on the screen. You know, Let's see. All right, I'm going to share the screen. The joy of Zoom, quickly sharing the screen because I have a button to make it happen. Here's my newsletter sign up campaign, something that I built. Steve, Zoom's telling me you raised your hand. Is there a particular reason? But here in the campaign, go to the promote tab. And here, if you don't know what we're talking about, is the one-click sign-up link with your email subscribers. Now, you can use this idea or you can ignore it. I use it all the time. I ignore this all the time. You can do this with other tools, but obviously you're going to start with your email subscribers. The idea here is that you want to bypass the opt-in page and send them straight to the Sarin page, which is what somebody asked. I don't remember who. The email service you're using is going to do what's called parameter substitution. You don't have to know a whole lot about it, but each one has a specific way of doing it. I'm set on Active Campaign because that's the tool that I use. Notice that down here, it says UV email equals %email. That %email is the way Active Campaign does substitution. So if I put this in an email that goes to my list, every email that goes out to the people that are on my list will have their email address in it. Okay? How do you know that that works? It's very easy. Here's how I tested it the very first time I did it. Guess what? I'm going to open a new tab and I'm going to paste that in because it's the same as somebody clicking on it in an email. I'm going to get rid of the first name because I don't really want that. But let's say my UV email is, and we're going to do my new one, which is that, mitch@thankyouPageMagic.com. And I'm just going to hit the return key. Imagine this is in my email, in my inbox, because my autoresponder Active Campaign sent me an email. It did the substitution and used my email address. It would obviously have my name in it, but I'm not going to do that for right now because guess what? You can leave it off. Shh, that's a secret. And guess what? I end up on the sharing page of the campaign. Woohoo! Success! That's the joy of the one-click sign up. It is super simple, very easy to do, and you can do it too. Joe says, nice. Absolutely. It is freaking amazing. Now look at the other things. You can put in a Facebook button. You can put a LinkedIn button. So what happens, obviously the same way I'm going to test it that I tested it before, I'm going to open a new tab. Now this actually will show up in your autoresponder as a link, but if you create it as a button in your autoresponder, then it makes it even more sexy. But you can use it as a link just as well. But, oops, sorry. But if I do the same thing that I just did, email equals tm.e. So there's my new email. Anybody have an idea what's going to happen with if I hit the go button on this? Give me a comment quickly. Let's see who's paying attention. What do you think is going to happen? Now imagine this is in an email that I'm sending to my list from my autoresponder. This is not from inside of UpViral. Come on, somebody guess. Linda says you will go to the contest page because you have not signed up. Good try, Linda. You know I love you, Linda, but that's not it. Theoretically, these people have signed up. Your email will be added to the list. Good try, but not true. James gets the bell. You will go to the Facebook share page. Yes, have to log in. Thank you, Facebook. James wins the prize of my respect. I still don't like this image, but I just threw it together, but that's a whole other topic. So from the email that you are sending to your list, you could say, hey, have you shared this campaign on Facebook yet? If not, click this link or click this button. Bam, it takes them straight to Facebook. They may have to log in, but bam, they're right there in Facebook. How freaky cool is that? Anybody want to guess what the other ones do? Share on LinkedIn, share on Twitter, share via email. You can send a link to your people from your autoresponder that says, hey, do you have any friends? You could email them from an email. How freaky cool is that? I know it's a mind twister. I feel like I'm on the Matrix. You can send a link to somebody in your campaign that says, hey, do you want to share this on email? Just click this link and it will open your email system and help you because it will use UpViral setup for that campaign. If you go over here to email notifications, nope, social sharing appearance, email, it will use this email, bam, inside their email system, bam, and they can share it with their friends. If you're not doing this, you're missing out on something that most of the other tools do not do. Lewis, are you still here? Lewis said he was having trouble in his campaign where there was trailing off. Guess what? If you send an email back to your people after, I don't know, I don't remember if I have that open. I'm going to pause for a second. Oh, it is this one. Watch again. Somewhere in here. Here it is. Dang it. I don't like this tool that you're using. This tool drives me bonkers because it's a freebie tool, but if you do a pause, then it pauses right in the middle. I wanted to, so in here, Lewis asks about, see, and now it's not in the right place. But anyway, he asks about that chart, and it's like trailing off, right? The number of people coming in trails off. Well, if you send emails back to your team, to your people that have signed up and say, hey, here's a Facebook sharing option, here's a Twitter option, right inside your email to get them to reactivate their campaign themselves. Linda said, so you would send one email to get them to share on Facebook, another email that would get them to share on another social platform. You could do it as multiple emails, Linda. You could do it as a single email. You could space them out during the campaign. You could say, hey, focus on Facebook today. Blah, 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 share on Facebook. 2 days later, hey, you're still trying to win this campaign, blah, 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 share on Twitter. Yes, you could do it on multiple days. You could do it on the same day. Just depends how you want to do it. Steve says, many of us don't deal with marketers, just regular people. Once they share a contest with all their friends, how did they expand the shares in the next contest? How do they expand shares? It is my understanding. You're still banging on this one, aren't you? Yes, Steve Thailand says, careful with multiple links in one email, which may result in being sent to spam. Yes. If you go back to the show with, I always want to say Melissa, Christina Etheridge, I don't know what show number it was, but we spent an hour and a half talking about email delivery and email stuff. Christina Etheridge is my guru, and she agrees with Steve. You don't want to put a whole bunch of links in one email if you can, because they are more likely to go into the spam folder. So yeah, try to be conscious of how many emails you're sending. Steve, many of us don't be. So, Steve, I'm obviously not saying it properly, so let me try it differently. And Lewis, I know, I'm sorry, Lewis, I keep getting dragged out. The challenge with every campaign, with every tool, with every, whether you're talking about a viral marketing campaign or a traditional campaign, is that the email goes out and then there's a trickle down, right? This is why the question about how long do you run a contest is important. You are going to have peaks and valleys of results. When you send an email out, you're going to get a lot of attention, and then it's going to dwindle off. People are going to stop. They don't remember. You're right. They don't remember that they are in a campaign. Most people don't think about it, which is why you keep pinging them. Which is why Guy Smith says if you're using Messenger, you can send them messages, right? That's why the people that say you should get people to opt into your text messaging say text messaging is great because you can be in front of people and remind them stuff. This is the part that's hard, is to keep people invigorated. If you go to the store, to the mall, and there's a car sitting in the mall, hey, win this car. It's September. Guess what? No, Siri, I'm sorry. I didn't want you to help. There's a car in the mall down the street. That's why I'm pointing over there. You don't know the mall's over there, but there's a car sitting there and there's an entry form. And if you look in the really fine print, they're not going to give away that car until December 31st of next year, 2022. Nobody's going to remember that. Nobody's going to be encouraged to share that campaign. All kinds of things. Anyway, the key here, Steve Hogland, is that you have to stay, what? Top of mind. Every marketer will tell you that if you don't stay top of mind, then you're going to drop off the list. Why are memberships so popular like at Starbucks? Because you remember, hey, I can get a free thing because I paid $10 to go get that free thing. You're staying top of mind. You've got to keep, why does Coke advertise Coca-Cola? Oh, I remember, I want it. I'd love to have a Coca-Cola right now. Gotta constantly be marketing. Business owners will tell you something like 80% of their business is spent on marketing. 80% of their time. You've got to stay in front of people, and that's also true with campaigns. So if somebody buys, if you're in e-commerce, if somebody buys, Steve, your widget off of your store, don't you want to come back and have them come back later and buy again? Why do you think they give away razors, right? You remember this story? They give away the razors in order to sell the blades to go in the razor because they want you to keep coming back. But they have to put this stuff in your head. That's what we're doing as marketers. We have to do that. All right, let's go. Hopefully that makes sense, Steve, because you got to continue always be asking for the referral. James Schaefer, has UpViral started working with Groove Mail yet? I have no clue. I will be quiet on that topic. I don't know. You'll have to look to see if they're now doing that. Let's go back to, I want to be here. I know I can't really stop very well inside of Lewis's campaign. Lewis's first question in that video I just sort of showed you. Ian says, see you very soon. I hope to see you very soon, Ian. Let's chat. In that video I was just showing you, did I close it? There it is. It's really sad they make this thing such that it is that when you pause it, this thing pops up. Because, oh, it does stay, doesn't it? And you just have to click it every time. All right, so Steve's question, not Steve, Lewis, are you still there? I'm sorry. It is 10:30 now, hour and a half. I promised to get you this. And the second part of that was in this question, he's probably bailed out on me. Bohan talks about, I would love to help with tracking. That's my favorite part and most important as free, let's take it from there. All right. So inside of UpViral, UpViral has one of the most cool things. And I should have thought about this before we got here, because what I want to do is, I don't remember. I'm going to pause because I don't necessarily want to show stuff that's not. This is probably not the right campaign. This works. All right. So inside, so Lewis's question is that the vast majority of stuff shows up under no tracking ID. This is one of my favorite topics too, by the way. Now, you see, this is my live campaign to get people to sign up to my newsletter, but I'm still having lots of people in this no tracking ID section. I have some people that say my FB. I have some people that say news. There's Facebook, then there's Gleam, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. All right. How do I get these traffic sources? When you go to the Promote tab, and what I'm going to do is I'll just do this. I'm going to see if I can do open link in new tab. When you go to the Promote tab, now, Lewis said you were using the UTM codes. That is great. And I believe that I was told that UTM codes will become more prominent in the future, but I don't know when or where or how. But UpViral has this little thing right here that is way too hidden, called a custom link. So what you see is that I created a tracking link called my FB. And I'm just going to click on copy that. And you see that they give you the entire link. Now you can create one of those simply by clicking on the custom link and typing in something. I'm going to do Copilot, right? I'm going to say Copilot show. And I think it created it, but it didn't give me an acknowledgement. But here it is down here. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to go to an incognito window in a special browser. And it's on the wrong window, and I'm going to go paste that in. Now, if I come back to UpViral, I have not hit the go button yet, right? If I come back to the reports tab and I scroll down, let me sort this by Lee, it doesn't matter. Visitors doesn't matter. You see down here, nothing that says Copilot, right? As soon as I do this, it will take me to the opt-in page for my newsletter. But if I refresh these results, you will now see, da-da-da! If I go to traffic, and I sort it again because it doesn't retain that based on visitors, you will see there is a Copilot and 2 visits. Now there's potential that there may be some tracking issues. They may count it twice. Don't worry about that right now. But you see that I can now track all of the incoming signups or just purely the visits based on where I share that. So if I were to open Facebook, and I come back over here and I'll go, and I'll paste it, if I were, I'm sorry, not there, Facebook, and I would to go paste it into, this is part of the problem with Facebook. I don't know what these things are. Why are they sharing? I don't want that to go away. Anyway, if I were to put this on Facebook, and I put a special tracking link at the end of that, where it says track equals, then all of the visits from this post will be tracked. I could put this on my timeline with track equals Facebook timeline. I don't use just the word Facebook because UpViral has that reserved. I could put track equals UpViral if I post it in the UpViral group, or FB UpViral, or whatever. Now you do not have to, and so what's going to happen, just to be clear, is that all of the visits from that unique link will be tracked here, and you will see the conversions for those, the conversion rate and how many people came in and opted in, like this, my FB. I posted that link on my timeline and said, hey, I got a newsletter. Come over here and sign up. I got 11 signups. But I specifically know where I posted that link. All right, Lewis, you got me? This is one of the most cool features of UpViral. And somebody pat me on the back. All right. Because I suggested this to them 2 years ago and they did it. To my knowledge, none of the other tools let you do this. To my knowledge, I haven't tested all the other tools. None of the other tools let you do this. Now you can, using UTM tracking and stuff, go into Google Analytics and track all that stuff all you want. I don't happen to know Google Analytics. And when I suggested this to UpViral, I was like, God, look how cool it would be if inside of UpViral, you can see how well a source is working for you. Does that take away all of the no tracking IDs? The answer is no. You still need something to track those sources. I believe UpViral is going to improve that in the future. I cannot promise that, but I have talked to them about that as an option. Notice, by the way, I did create this link in UpViral on this page, but you don't have to, because if I do something like LOUIS and I hit go, UpViral will track that without me building it first. You will see in this traffic list You will see Lewis right there. How freaky cool is that? So you don't have to build them in advance. Let's suppose you have influencers or micro influencers, as my friend Claudia said. Was Claudia, right? Linda says, very cool. Thank you. If you happen to have a micro influencer, I'm sorry, an influencer, you have affiliates, you want to be able to track their source, track their traffic coming in from them as a source. You got the perfect tracking data right here. You get to see how many convert for each of those links. It's all right here inside of your UpViral. It's a very powerful tool. We use it all the time. My students and I look at this all the time. I urge you to post a tracking link on everything you do for your direct traffic. I highly advise it. It is still not going to eliminate all the no tracking ID stuff, but it does. Lewis says, what do you suppose the no tracking ID data is coming from? Great question. So great questions. Lewis says, it's okay if you don't know. I do know. But the problem is that that data isn't trackable with UpViral today. In your particular campaign, I do not know. In my campaign, I often know because I use other tools to track to track this. There are tools. I use one called Funnelytics. If you want to know more about that, come see me. I use Go Squared to track live traffic. I use Google Analytics. You can put all of that stuff inside your UpViral campaign to see stuff, right? Funnelytics, for example, helps me find out where the traffic is coming from. Often what you will find out is that somebody has taken their share link, their referral link, they don't understand what they're doing or whatever, and they have posted the direct link on a contest site. Kiki says, LOL, we're back to last week. This is one of the things I want to drive down further into, but you will find that people will post that link on other websites if they really want to win. They should post their referral link, but often they don't. They don't quite understand the process. Or there are some sites, there are some contest sites that will not let people post a referral link, but they find the link anyway. And they post it. So there are people that will share your campaign for you that you don't know about. And this is key. If you start using tracking links, this number should go down, but it's never going to go to zero. And you still want this. You still want people bringing leads to you however you can. So this is a good thing. Don't think of this as a bad thing, but you do want this number to come down and these numbers to go up. But it's always good if you have no tracking data on the direct side. On the referred side, excuse me, what you will see is people that are doing the social sharing stuff. And I could spend another 2 hours talking about that. But the key is you get that data. There's no tracking ID on the referred side is people, and Kiki says from last week, those are people that went to the share page and they copied their referral link and they posted it somewhere that's not on one of the traditional social sharing sites. Okay. Lots of great data in these reports. Now, you had on your video, you had 8% and 10% on the conversion rates. Those are good, but I want to see them higher. Part of the issue, Lewis, is that if you're getting really low conversion rates, then you're not sending the right traffic. Whatever the problem is with the traffic, the people, well, it could be multiple things, right? It could be the traffic coming in is not the right traffic. If you were running Facebook ads, theoretically, those should be targeted, but they may not be targeted enough. But they're also landing on your page if they are the right warm audience and you're getting 8% conversion, then they're not understanding what the offer is, or the offer is not exciting enough for them to sign up. So this data can give you lots and lots of good information, right? You also had, what did I say? You had 138 direct leads, 21 referred leads. Well, that's 15% conversions. Woohoo! I'm sorry, that's 15% referred leads, 15% free traffic. That's all goodness. You want those conversion numbers to be higher as well, if you can. Mine's obviously not converting well, but that's giving me some data that I need to go look at. Okay. We talked about the cell phone. We talked about the trailed off. You also said you wanted to pause the campaign in your video. There is no pause. You're welcome. I see, I've already forgotten. Nestor, that's who it was. Nestor's leaving. Good luck on your client appointment. Lewis said the Facebook ads are paused. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to pause an UpViral campaign because traffic's coming in. You're still getting traffic coming in, hopefully, based on referrals and stuff. So you don't want to pause a campaign and before the end. All right. So were there any other questions, Lewis, that you had? I'm trying to remember. I've covered all the things that I wrote down. We talked about the cell phone. You also talked about the date of birth. I mean, the cell phone thing, when you were asking them for a phone number and you're going to call them, that could be impacting your conversion rate immensely. Okay. If I come to an opt-in page that has a phone number, potentially I'm out. I won't even opt in because I don't want to give up my phone number because I think you're going to call me. Now, that could be good if somebody is going to call and it may turn into good results for you, but be aware that that may reduce your opt-in rate. And speaking of the tracking, Bojan, again, my foreign name track. If there's anything else in terms of tracking, I would love to know more about that. If you have any input, if you're still here, tracking is one of my things, right? I want to be able to track more stuff. And that's why I'm using custom tools, third-party tools, to try to drill into this no tracking ID stuff to find out where my campaign's being shared. It's awesome. By the way, if you don't know about it, if you go to the leads, and please ignore all these email addresses. I wish I could do this where I can't show email addresses, but there's an export. And guess what? The source of the traffic is in that export. You potentially could upload that to your client's autoresponder or to your own and find and track that data. You can't do it directly from UpViral, but you can do it from that export, because that tracking ID is included in your export. And therefore, you could further subdivide the people in your autoresponder if you map those things up and make a tag for them or a custom field that holds that tracking ID. Again, a lot of the tools don't give you this data. So any other questions? I think I've answered everybody's questions, or did I go back? Oh, James said, in terms of the tracking, I mentioned affiliates when I said the tracking. How can it be set up with affiliates? Each one has their own ID. Yes, you would put their own tracking ID in the link. Do we do the same with each button? I don't know what you mean by each button. When I say affiliates, you have to be careful, because I'm not talking about paying affiliates. I'm not talking about setting cookies for affiliates, if that's the cookie tracking process. We're not talking about that. We are simply talking about whether or not an affiliate, if you give it to your affiliates, each one has their own tracking ID, then you can see how many people convert, i.e. become opt-ins to your list from those affiliates. There is nothing here about setting a cookie. UpViral does not currently track cookies for affiliates or anything else. I simply was trying to get you to think about the fact that you could see different tracking. That does, if you put a link, for example, to buy the product on the sharing page, that affiliate link is not getting clicked through to the affiliates, and they're not getting paid based on that. So I'm not saying that you can do paid affiliate stuff. What I was simply trying to say was that you can use that to track source traffic down if you wanted to with affiliates. It's not going to pay them. Hope you understand that that's not what I was trying to imply. As James said, that is great for affiliates to know who is really active and reward them for their efforts. Yes. You can't award them for sales, but you can, and I have seen this done. You can set up an internal contest for your influencers or your affiliates, your traffic sources, whatever you want to call them. You could say to them, all right, we're running a contest for the affiliate that brings me the most leads. I'm going to give you blah, 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 $100 or whatever the prize is. You can set up top 3. You can do all of that kind of stuff because the data is here in UpViral for you to look at. Again, you're not tracking for sales. You're just tracking for leads. But I have seen time and time again where we have given out tracking links to sources, influencers, for example, or people that have said, heck yes, I will help you promote this. And they weren't really sure what that tracking link was. So don't, the key sort of there is, if your affiliate's name is Betty Lou, don't make it say track equals Betty Lou, because then she knows you're tracking her. Make it say something that you correlate to Betty Lou. Make it be XYZ2, whatever. You would have to keep track of those yourself. But I have seen so many campaigns where people said, I will help you promote that. And you give them a link and you find out they never even sent it out. This is a way for you to keep track of what they're doing. And if they refer tons of people, bingo, good for you. You get to know that data. All right. Anything else? James said, by buttons, I mean Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. If I go back to the promote tab, on this Custom tracking, I'm sorry, the one-click sign up does not take into account tracking because it assumes you're already signed up. This is something I have a desire for UpViral to be able to allow me to put a tracking link on this for people. I use this as a really advanced feature, for example, for somebody that's doing a survey instead of the opt-in page. Long story there, but that's one of the 25 different ways of using UpViral is to replace the opt-in page with the survey. I would like to be able to track that data or pass through the tracking information there, but that's a really advanced tracking option. Kiki says, terrific, especially on the tracking. I finally understand this. Yay! I've had success for once. Yay! Not for once, I'm kidding. I appreciate that, Kiki. Thank you for letting me know. So let's wrap this up. We're trying to get out of here now. We are at almost 2 hours. Anybody have any last minute questions? I believe I've covered everything. If I missed something, please let me know ASAP. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up next week on the show. I have no clue. I may or may not be here because it might be William's show with an interview. I don't know because I haven't looked. Steven says, thanks, Mitch, and everyone for a great show. You're welcome. Don't forget, as I would like, if you have a most bestest takeaway from today, post it, go over to the Facebook group and post that, or post it on the live stream or on the replay. Appreciate you all being here. Thank you very, very much for being here. Appreciate you each and every week. Jeff Stark says, wow, great stuff, Mitch. You're welcome. Lewis says, great stuff, Mitch. You guys are repeating each other. Cheers. It is great to be here. Don't forget to invite somebody if you can. If you know somebody that wants to build their business to grow 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% free leads on the after they've opted in, send them here. We will talk to them about that on the Copilot show. And we will catch you next week. Vivian said, thank you so much for your guidance. I appreciate your help. And there was somebody that said, I want to review. Please make sure you post that in the Facebook group, and I will be happy to give you a quick review on that. Tag me. Make sure you tag me. All right, you guys, we will see you next week. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. And I will catch you next week on the Copilot show.